All right, this is your market recap for November 18th, 2025. As you can see today, we targeted this low down here and we reached that and then quickly came up off of it. Reason why this is black instead of this usual liquidity color that I have is because this right now, as of now, is an SMT. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that going forward. Now, 4-hour time frame doesn't really help much. There's no inefficiencies trailing down here. There is nothing to play off of. So let's skip down to the 1 hour, which is where my whole bias came from. So first off, we can see here we played bearish, took out these lows, had a little bit of retrace one, retrace two, barely took it out yesterday. Sorry, London session, and then we rallied, but we rallied and respected this 1 hour fair value gap perfectly. So we rounded it out, came down, validated this hourly fair value gap, came down, closed below it, stuck one thing up there, and then the 9 o'clock candle came and we did something similar, and then we continued to play bearish, taking out this low and then returning back to this range. We did end up putting an SMT of these highs in. However, with this higher time frame SMT, I kind of want to say it has more power. This could 100% just be a retrace. It could not. We will really just have to see. 15-minute time frame, not much more going on here. We can see, once again, 1 hour candle, or sorry, 1 hour created, nice closures at this 1 hour over here. Down below it, nice respect of it here. We spiked up past it to sweep these relative equal highs here before continuing to play bearish, which was actually an entry. Now, I don't know if some of you are aware, but the stupid cloud flare, whatever, was down this morning, which is what my prop firm uses, and so I couldn't actually log in, or else I would have taken this trade. But it's unfortunate, live and you learn. I need to keep my passwords for stuff like that just in two places, just in case. And so we came down, took out this low, retraced pretty decently, but with enough conviction to not take this high out. And then we dove once again to take out this sell side liquidity. Took some time here. In my opinion, how this 45-minute candle closed, and by that I mean 9:45. This is a 15-minute candle. That or the 1 hour candle, how those closed really solidified to me that we're going to come take out this sell side down here. We took our time to do so, but once we did put in that SMT, started playing bullish. At this point, could be a retrace, right? We've had this big bearish move, could retrace to equilibrium. Now, what really does it for me is the disrespect of this fair value gap here. Now, even though we don't use it, even though we don't respect it, the lower time frame still calls this okay, right? And so we use that to play bullish for lunch, and then we consolidate for PM session before starting our retrace down into the range. 5-minute time frame. Again, you can see we were consolidating, keeping within this 1 hour fair value gap here, and then we were also reacting off this 5-minute here, which kept us in and validated that. And then you can see that market opened, rallied down, failed to take out this low, rallied up, took out these relative equal highs, and some of these over here. These don't really matter as much because honestly, I'd like it if we left these here, just so we can respect this hourly sell-side imbalance. I liked how we played up there. But these relative equal highs, this accumulation definitely needs to get taken out, and it did. And then from there, we came down, played bearish, took out this low, 10 o'clock candle closed here. 10 o'clock candle opened, messed around here, stayed within this 5-minute fair value gap here, and then dove to take out the sell side, stuck no candle closure below it, which tells us that we're going to retrace pretty high. And then from there, we can see, boom, that high retrace there. Again, past this 15-minute that we saw on that time frame, there's no inefficiencies up here. So if it went past that 15-minute with nothing else to reach up here, there's no reason for it to come up this high. So with that in mind, we'll say, okay, maybe we're switching. Maybe we're switching our directions. We then retrace. Okay, could be continuing bearish. Boom, stops dead, equilibrium, candle closures right there. And the second we have any sort of change in, let's say, a delivery bullish on the 1 minute, boom, okay, we're playing bullish. All right, we switched. And our targets were these relative equal highs here, which was an SMT. ES swept these highs and NQ didn't, which is what puts in this SMT and puts in this sell side pressure that we see there. It's a quicker one today than yesterday because not as much happened today. So if we zoom in here on the 1 minute time frame, we can see this accumulation, we can see this 5 minute, and we can see this hourly. Again, this hourly is what is helping me frame my bias for the day. And so we look at that. This 5 minute comes into play later. So for now, forget about it. We see market open, rally up a little bit, drop down, miss this, play bullish, take out this buy side with a huge candle, by the way, 123 handles in a single candle. It's pretty significant, right? So you might think we're going to shoot up. No, this candle starts all the way up here, but it ends all the way down here. So you see big buy side wicks after sweeping liquidity after a really bullish candle. Okay, maybe start to reconsider things. And then once we start to see this dive here, okay, might just be retracing equilibrium of this move. All right, but then boom, the second this candle closure is below this fair value gap right here, I'm switched to bearish. This is where my limit order would have been. And in fact, even though I couldn't get into my paper trading account, even though I couldn't get into my funded account, I still logged into the paper trading account because I wanted to actually take it because I was pretty confident that it would go. So we entered, I don't think it was this candle closure. It might have been actually somewhere down here. And then it came up, respected this 1 minute fair value gap nicely. And as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, we're doing pretty good. And then I saw it drag down here, take out this SMT, take out this sell side, right? And then boom, huge candle back up. Now you might be thinking, oh no, it might reverse. And I said, you're right. But let's bring over that 5 minute. Look at that. Perfection with these closures. Yes, we tapped outside of it a little bit, but I want to say equilibrium of this isn't even, yeah, equilibrium of that is not in this 5 minute and is just tapped there. And then what's it do? Okay, it's done. All right, it's done. Boom, down to this sell side. And it continues to just leak, not very fast at this point, but just leaking lower. Failed to sweep this low. Retrace up once again to this 5 minute. You might ask yourself, well, why that 5 minute? I don't think it's equilibrium, but like I said, if you remember back to the 5 minute or the 15-minute time frame, anything above this equilibrium is completely balanced. There's no inefficiencies, there's no fair value gaps, there's no nothing. And so sometimes when price has nothing to reach for above equilibrium, it takes the closest thing to it, which is this 5 minute fair value gap right here. So from here, we once again slowly leak lower, taking out this sell side with one big stretch, and then after that, slowly reversing. Now, as soon as we come up, okay, took out the sell side, might be a pretty big retrace, but keep in mind we didn't sweep it on ES, so that could play into some sort of effect. Retrace pretty high. Again, completely balanced. There's no reason for us to come up here. So, okay, that's a little weird. We'll keep that in mind, though. We retrace down, tap equilibrium, close there on the 5 minute, drop our nutsack down below this low. SMT of these lows. Okay, so in my mind, our bullish confirmation is this inverse fair value gap. Right, heck, or even this one. You really want it to be picky about it. Inverse fair value gap here. Reason why I'm drawing it on this low instead of this high is because of the, oops, sorry, wrong button, of this gap between these two candles. When that's there, you got to include it. So we see that, boom, validation down here, there, and then boom, we closed up above it. Now this would be a pretty big trade, right? 39 handle stop, which in all honesty is not horrible. I think this one was like a 50, we'll go back to that. But if you're just targeting these highs, that's a 1 to 4. But again, I'm not trading during lunch, so that's kind of just something for the back of the head. Keep that in mind. We then play bullish, consolidate. ES does its thing, takes out this high, gives us that SMT. We then around the 250 to 310 macro, actually specifically inside of it, put in this SMT here, starting a retrace back into the range there. But this wouldn't have been taken anyways for me personally. Just not a fan of this price action. So that leaves me with trade of the day. Today being this. All right, let's say be realistic and we enter at the low of that. Stops above this high. We target. We'll target this. It'll take some time, but with stops above this 5-minute, because we're confident that's going to hold. Boom, we'll go there. Now, could this be a much larger trade if we say right there? Yes, look at that, 1 to 10.8. But I will say this. Big volume up, big rejection here, big candle down, small candle closure here. So you could assume that we're not going to immediately shoot off from here. You could assume that we're still going to, because I assume with a couple seconds left, the candle was down here, maybe like 20 seconds left in the candle, and then we retraced back up here. So if you really wanted to, you could have said, okay, it's playing bullish the last couple of seconds of the candle. I'm going to put my stop here. You're looking at a 1 to 5. But in all honesty, I'm not trusting price to come all the way back up to this 1 minute fair value gap there. So best I can do is a 1 to 5.4. And again, 5, ooh, that would have really sucked. That's because I most likely wouldn't have done that. I mean, as much as I love putting my stop at break even, this one would have been a kick in the nuts. Bang, right here, this low, break even, right? And then what do we get? What do we get after sweeping that low? Bang, one candle straight up to break even. So what would I do there? Well, first, we'll think about it. Say, okay, grade the price range. Equilibrium is close. Boom, stick it above equilibrium. If you don't want to do that, want to be a little safer, stick it at constant encroachment of this candle. That's personally what I probably would have done, and going in the future, even if we have an SMT of this low, like we did here, if I have strong bearish draws with very little bullish draws, even if I hit break even, I am moving my stop loss to this candle, especially if I know this 5 minutes here and equilibrium's there. Even if I don't know equilibrium's there, I'm still putting it on this wick, because that would have been a kick in the nuts to see, boom, okay, break even, literally tapped out by what? 3 handles. That would have sucked. And then boom, just seen price melt. But yeah, with that, we're looking at 1 to 5.8. If you want to be more specific, it's not going to be exact, but we'll go there. 5.4. So pretty good. That's a pretty decent trade of the day. Going into the future, though, like I mentioned, really, really high time frame SMT with this low for now, because we took out that low, retraced up, put in this SMT of highs, and now we have sell side pressure. We are disrespecting this 1 hour fair value gap there. We're retraced past equilibrium. We'll see. This higher time frame SMT is at such a high time frame where it's possible that it's just not going to be relevant. Like it's not meant to be an SMT and we're just going to melt tomorrow going back to take it on ES. Or it could hold, right? It's one of those things where we have to wait and see, because we're at the point where market's closed and Asian session I don't think has started yet, so we're kind of just consolidating for now. But we just gotta see. I like how we're reacting off this hourly, but this is the type of thing where if we work our way up put a candle closure above it, I will take this long, because even though we have this right here, we have higher time frame pressures here. So it's at the point where whatever I see moving with price is the direction I'm going to go. Even though we have SMT of highs, SMT of lows, if that's the case, then I'll side more with the higher time frame one. But I will keep it in mind, and if I'm seeing sell side pressure, I'll remember this SMT of highs and target this low. Just my thought process on that, but we'll see tomorrow. But this has been your market recap for November 18th, 2025.